Hey guys, welcome back. So today I'm going to be pulling out the rest of the tomatoes from the garden. I'm also going to be fitting the greenhouse plastic for the fall garden because we have our first frost coming tomorrow evening. Today is very, very windy, but it is like 80 degrees. So I figured it would be the better day to go ahead and get a lot of this knocked out. Tomorrow our high is 40 and it's super windy, and that just sounded absolutely miserable because I still have 6 plants that I need to take down. And I'm expecting to get probably another 50 to 100 pounds of tomatoes today, which is insane. But I figured I would take you guys along for the journey. I also want to reflect today on just how the garden went this year. Let's go ahead and get started. All the tomatoes are down. I probably have another 75 to 100 pounds here. So far this year, I have 150 pounds of tomatoes that I've processed into sauce already. So I'm thinking this will equal out to be another 10 quarts of sauce, which will equal out to be about, I think, 35 quarts altogether, which is a good amount of tomatoes, especially for my first year canning. There are a few things I want to do differently with tomatoes though, and that is I did not like tomato cages at all. So even with Romas being a determinate variety, so if you don't know the definition of determinate, what that means is determinate tomatoes grow to a certain height and then they stop, and then indeterminates just keep growing. Well, in my experience with Romas, my Romas still got probably about 5-6 feet tall, and that was still way too large for a tomato cage. So what I'm thinking is I'm actually going to use the area that I had all in these cloth planters for tomatoes. We're gonna do an in-ground space right here and actually use a cattle panel trellis, or not, just use a cattle panel to trellis everything up there. And then I want to use my tomato cages for my bell peppers, because I actually had issues with my bell peppers getting really tall and heavy, which is a good problem to have. I had a great year with bell peppers. But one thing I did want to show you guys is you may have noticed when I was doing those tomatoes there, I left all of these little stubs here, and you may be wondering why. So one thing I learned this year that I found really interesting is you actually want to cut and leave the root systems in the ground. So any type of earthworm or organism living in this soil will eat on these root systems throughout winter and will better off the soil health for the soil. So that's one thing I did want to tell you guys. This is something I've never done. I've honestly just ripped up the plants, and I did not know this until a few weeks ago. So I'm really excited to see how these will break down throughout the winter. From what I've seen, these should be mostly decomposed by spring. So that will be really cool. I can just kind of pull them out instead of really struggling to get those root systems out, because these roots are really deep. So the cucumber trellis and then also the rest of these peppers need to come out as well today. So I did want to show you this. My husband just covered these up. This is our jalapeno plant. These are 2 of our cayennes. These are actually ripening bags that we've had in our basement for the last 2 years. We've never used them. We figured this might be a fun little experiment to see if, one, we can save some of these over our first few frosts, and also if they will help in some of these ripen. Because if you can see, I have so many green cayennes, it's crazy. But the rest of these plants are also gonna come out today. I had a great year with peppers. I was able to get a handful of pickles, or cucumbers, I should say, cucumbers that are probably about 3-4 inches in size. I might be able to slice all these up and get like another pint jar. Other than that, I got quite a few green cayennes. I'm gonna try to ripen these inside. I've never tried to ripen hot peppers inside, but I did do a quick Google search and it says you can, so I'll let you know how that goes. And then the rest of these tomatoes are just gonna ripen inside, and once they ripen, I will put them in freezer bags, then process them once they are all ready to go. I honestly think I'll probably be doing this ripening process with tomatoes up until the end of November. So I'm sure I'll be doing my last canning of tomato sauce probably in December would be my guess. Sometimes these take quite a while to ripen. I still have some in my bedroom that I pulled 4 weeks ago that are still green. So we will see about that. Other than that though, the last thing to do on the list today is to get that greenhouse plastic fitted and cut for the fall garden. So let's go do that. Before we go over to the fall space, I actually forgot. So I don't know if you guys remember or not, but I had these potatoes and they ended up not working out. Well, then I planted something else in here and then I randomly started seeing potatoes sprout because apparently I didn't pull all of them out. And I just saw this at the very top of this container here. So I'm going to see if we actually got any potatoes this year. So this is what I kind of thought. We only ended up getting 6 and they're speckled. So the reason why I pulled the tomato plants in the first place, because it looked like they got some weird disease to them. Like, I'm honestly shocked that we are finishing the garden year with anything. But I am just gonna go ahead and toss these since they don't look right to me. They look like they have some type of random disease. And oh my gosh, I'm sure you can hear that wind. That wind is just crazy. Let's get on to the fall space. So I got the plastic on and then I went ahead and pulled it back. I will say it was a lot harder getting this plastic on than I anticipated. It's really thick, heavy plastic, and then dealing with like 30-mile-per-hour gusts today, that was an intense process. Unfortunately, I don't think I can cover the broccoli or the snow peas just because of how I have them staked and trellised. It would be too much with the wind. So I think I probably won't get any snow peas this year because those will get taken out with the frost. I do have like little itty bitty ones, but they won't be big enough. I'm not gonna cover the carrots or the spinach because those will be fine, but everything else I am going to cover tomorrow. So I wanted to go ahead and peel these back for the rest of today because since it is fairly warm. But since I'm over here, I did wanna mention, since I'm kind of recapping the garden as a whole, this year was my very first year doing iceberg lettuce and cabbage. So those are very like head varieties of things. It's been really cool to watch grow. They have been quite challenging, but my one cabbage is still doing really well. I do have a handful of iceberg lettuces that are doing really, really well as well. And I'm hoping that these cooler temps will just really put the icing on the cake with that. And just like that, that's going to sum up our garden activities for today. I'll probably show you guys this space one more time here in November, but for now, that is going to be it for the 2020 garden. I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for joining and supporting me along the way. I look forward to gardening with you guys in 2021, but until then, I look forward to making other content other than gardening over the next few months, so make sure you're subscribed for that. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I'll see you all next time. Bye.